Welcome back to another build showcase. Today we're going to be going over a pretty exciting build for the Warlock. Now, I know I'm a little late to this build. This is going to be a Contraverse hold build using the exotic gauntlets for the Warlock. Now it is a void build and I'm pretty excited about it, so let's jump right into it with the subclass. Starting off, we are going to be using Cataclysm. As far as the super ability goes, you don't really have to use Catalysm, you can use any of them. However, I like Catalysm the most. Got a Healing Rift on just because Healing Rifts are good. Burst Glide, favorite jump of the Warlock. I don't like the Warlock jump, so I feel this gives me the best control. Pocket Singularity for the melee, obviously. And then for the Void Grenade, we are running the Axion Bolt for this. Now, for the grenade, you can also use the Vortex Grenade. Really, any of the grenades that is in Chaos Accelerant, you could use, technically. However, I personally like the Axion Bolt because it detonates twice and has enhanced Seekers when using this. With that, moving on to the aspects, the Feed the Void aspect, defeating a target with your Void ability activates Devour, and Devour effects are improved, restoring additional health and grenade energy. This is important. As the second aspect, we're going to be using Chaos Accelerant. Chaos Accelerant allows you to charge your grenades and overcharge them, making them deadlier and more efficient. This is key to the build because the Controversy hold also increases and makes the Chaos Accelerant better. You resist damage while you're charging your Void Grenades. And then also your charged Void Grenades return more grenade energy on hit and apply Weaken, making this just overall much stronger when you're charging those nades. For our first fragment, we are going to be using Echo of Persistence. Now, Echo of Persistence increases the Void buffs duration applied to you, such as Invisibility, Overshield, and Devour. I like this because if for whatever reason I can't get a kill with a grenade to activate Devour, I can instead have it last a little bit longer. Just gives you that extra comfort of having Devour always available to you. Because we're activating Devour so often, this isn't absolutely necessary. You could instead change it out for another fragment, such as Fragment of Echo of Undermining or something like that to apply more Weaken. However, you are going to be applying Weaken with your Controversial Hold charged grenades, so that's not necessary. For our next fragment, we are going to be using Echo of Remnants. Echo of Remnants makes it so that your lingering grenade effects last longer, meaning Axion Bolt or your Vortex Grenade, if that's what you're choosing to use, they're going to last longer and go further. So, Axion Bolt, you throw it, turns into smaller bolts, seeks out targets. They will seek out targets further away and last longer so that you almost guaranteed get all the explosions off. Our next, we are running Echo of Expulsion. The reason we're running Echo of Expulsion is self-explanatory. Void ability, Final Blows, cause targets to explode. Self-explanatory, just increases the amount of damage you're going to be doing. And last but not least, Echo of Instability. Defeating targets with grenades grants volatile rounds to your void weapons. You will always have volatile rounds up. There's no stopping it. You're going to be killing everything with grenades anyways. Volatile rounds will just make you that much stronger. If you're enjoying this, make sure you hit the like button and the subscription button. That way you don't miss any more of these builds, as well as leave a comment down below of any builds that you want me to showcase in the future and utilize. And now moving right along to our armor and weapons. First off, for the stats, you are going to want a very high grenade stat. Why? Because you want to be doing a ton of grenade damage. If you can get it all the way up to 200, do that. If not, on your gloves, you'll be putting a grenade font to help increase that. I can only get it up to 169, so I have grenade fonts equipped to make sure that when I am in combat, I'm going to have my grenade up all the time, and I'm going to be doing the max amount of damage I can do with it. Aside from that, your class stat and your super stat and your melee stat are the next ones you'll want to focus on. Super stat, I'd say try and get it above 100. The other one's just as high as you can get it. They don't matter as much for this. Now, moving on to our mods, we are going to be running on our helmet a grenade mod, just to boost our grenade energy more. We are running Ashes to assets because of the amount of grenade kills we're going to be getting. We're going to be getting a ton of super energy from that. Always important. I'm actually going to move this from hands-on to an Ashes to asset because it's going to be more important to have that. We're not going to be getting a ton of melee kills. While we will use our melee, it's not the most important. And then I have a Harmonic Siphon because we're going to be using void weapons. Get an extra orb of power when we're doing that. Moving on to our controversial hold. Now this is the reason this build works. We're going to have a grenade mod on it. We do have a grenade font. And then we also have another grenade font just to make sure we can get all the way up to that 200 because one font gives a boost of 30. The next mod gives it for 50. And then if you have 3, you get it for 60. I'm actually going to swap this. We're going to go to a firepower. And I'm going to show you why in a second. Because our super is 120, I can change one of those mods down there. This will make it so that we get more orbs of power, thus increasing our super capabilities and our ability to have grenade font up in the first place. Onto our chest piece, we're going to change this super mod to a grenade mod. Not that, a grenade mod. And then we're boosting it up to 179. I'm actually going to swap this to that because we don't need to get it up to 179. We can get it to there. And then we can use this however we need based on the activity. So I think that's actually going to be really good, doing it that way instead. This could... Ooh. Let's do that. Charged up. Increases the maximum number of stacks of armor charges you can have by 1. Now we're just going to have... We're going to have 4 stacks, all counting down, plus we're going to have powerful attraction on that, so we're going to be getting... Oh, this is actually good. This is good. This is good. I like this. Okay, so we're going to do this. Then we're going to move on to our boots. We have a super mod, just to make sure we're up over 100. I do have a grenade-focused tier 5 pair of pants, so we have that up. I have 2 void weapon surges on here to make our void weapons do much more damage when we're doing that. And then I have an innervation on because whenever we pick up an orb of power, it's going to reduce the cooldown of our grenade, just giving our grenade that much more potency. You could change this to insulation, just so you can get your class ability up more often, but I think this is fine. Well, actually, you know, we get our grenade back super fast just from the controversial hold. I might try putting on an insulation, see if it has any sort of impact on it, you know, because if it does, that's great. And then, last but not least, onto our mod item. I apologize, I just punched the mic. We do have another super mod on here. I'm actually going to throw that up. It doesn't push it up over the threshold, so it doesn't really matter. I do have 2 bombers on here. Increase or decrease our grenade mod. I'm going to change one of them to time dilation, though. Increases our armor charge duration. And then also we have powerful attraction on here. I like powerful attraction personally. It just makes it so that we pull all the orbs to us, guarantee ourselves picking up all the orbs in the area rather than having to run around and pick them up ourselves. And then a bomber class item, reducing our grenade cooldown whenever we use the class ability. Moving on to our weapons. Starting off, I have a hand cannon in the main slot. This could also be a sidearm or whatever happens to be your weapon of choice. I'm using a hand cannon because I need unstoppable for the activities currently. And I have a solid hand cannon here, so I'm using that to make sure that I can stop unstops. For our middle weapon, I am using the Graviton Lance. I'm using the Graviton Lance because of barrier champions. Barrier champions are in a lot of the activities right now. It's a good thing to have. However, you can also use the Choir of One for this build. Choir of One is a fantastic weapon. Deals a crap ton of damage and so it is good. However, I like the Graviton Lance for this because of the fact that it can stun barrier champs, and the Choir of One cannot. And then our heavy weapon is whatever your weapon of choice is. I'm currently using the Folded Root, which is part of the Call to Arms activity here, but you can use whatever is comfortable for you and whatever heavy weapon you're using right now. I do recommend using a Void weapon, as this is a primary Void build, and all of your buffs are going to be focused around Void. Or if you aren't going to be using Void weapons, make sure that you change your weapon surges to match that of Void, or whatever subclass it is. Okay, to showcase this build, what we're going to do is we're going to do the Salt Mines, because right now the Call to Arms activity is active. And as many of you know, you have to run it at an incredibly hard cap in order to get into the top 10 or the top tier. So we're going to run this with this build, and you'll be able to see just how potent this build is at the highest levels. We're going to put all of the hardest modifiers on. We are going to give ourselves some boons because we can. We're going to throw on a Void Surge, we're going to throw on the Grenader, and we're going to throw on the Brawler just to get our abilities up more often. Now it is a stasis focus thing, so I'm going to change this to stasis. That way any stasis stuff we take, we get a little bit of extra resistance to. And now, with the hardest mods possible, we send it. Alright, jumping right in here. Oh, we have ability takedowns. Finally, this is such a good thing for us. Alright. We can literally show off what this build is for and why it's amazing. You're going to witness just how amazing this build is. Goodness gracious. The only thing I need to use my gun for anymore is to destroy these blights and to stun champs. My gun will not be used aside from that. The rest of it is just grenade after grenade after grenade. I'm gonna get hit sideways. Look at that. Look at how fast we're crushing through this thing. And the amount of energy. I don't know if you guys have noticed the amount of energy that's coming back every time I use my grenade. I'm getting a full grenade plus some every single time I use my charged grenade here. Not worrying about most wanted. Most wanted doesn't matter. Not worrying about any of this stuff. We're literally sprinting through here. No, I need to fall. I need to fall. Get small bit of healing here from our rift because of the mods. Unfortunately, we don't get a ton more. I wish we got so much more. We should get a ton more. But because of the mods we have to run, we can't get more. There we go. We're already through to the next zone. Once it opens up. Now, I need to be careful in this area. I always get thrown off the edge by the freaking things that knock you sideways here. I don't know why I do. I just, for whatever reason, my mind does not compute that they're there still. So I need to find them to make sure I don't accidentally get rocketed off the map. No, 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 no. I think there's one right behind me. Okay, we're good. We're golden. This is one of my fastest runs yet. Look at that. Absolutely insane speed run of this. One of my fastest times yet. And we got the hollow foil submersion. Dude, absolutely insane run. We still didn't get enough to make it into the top 1%, but we definitely got enough to make it into the top 10% because that's a new high score for me and I was already in the top 10%. So, that's absolutely amazing. Try this build out. Make sure you do. There will be a link to the dim in the description so that you can just go there, copy this build onto your character, and run it. Absolutely insane, kind of AFK build, honestly, where you can just throw grenade after grenade after grenade and never have to worry about it. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscription so you don't miss any more, and comment down below any builds that you would like me to showcase in the future. I hope you have a great rest of the day. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.